My name is Scott, and I'm from Kentucky. And I want to tell you a little bit about how I came into a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. From an early age, I attended church. I was there all the time, and I learned about Jesus. I learned about God. I learned that learned that God was perfect, and He wanted to have a relationship with me. And I also knew that I wasn't perfect. That was pretty easy to tell. Although I was a pretty good kid, I obviously was not perfect, and I had sinned, and that sin had separated me from God. So I also learned while at church that God sent His perfect Son Jesus to this earth to be a sacrifice for my sins, so that I could spend eternity with God in heaven. And when I was about 13, I attended a church camp, and I was having a little conversation at the snack bar with the director one day, and he just asked me, "Scott, how long have you been a Christian?" And I wasn't, and I knew that I wasn't, but I looked like a Christian, acted like a Christian, spoke like a Christian most of the time, so he thought I was a Christian. But just because you live in a garage doesn't make you a car, and just because you're in church doesn't make you a Christian. So I was a pretty logical child, even at the age of 13, and I knew all of those facts. So at that point, it just made sense to me to accept those facts and turn my life over to Christ. So it just sounded like a pretty good deal to me. And life didn't become perfect at that point. It wasn't just all sunshine, but I did have hope. And I've had a fantastic life since becoming a Christian. God says, "I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." And not just on this earth, which is a very short period of time, but for eternity with Him in heaven. So even if my life here on earth wasn't great, I would still know that God is God, and He loves me, and I know that I will always love Him, and I know that I'm going to spend eternity with Him in heaven. So thanks for listening to my story.